So there's a story out of the Hill today that discusses a recent survey that was done of Americans in this country. And what this survey finds, which I'm sure it'll be no surprise to most of you that watch this channel, is that the majority of Americans in this country are not prepared for what's coming. We discussed frequently on the channel, on the show, about how AI is going to be, it's already but going to be further revolutionizing the entire employment and jobs market in the United States. Thousands of jobs, tens of thousands of jobs are going to continue to be cut and lost at the hands of AI. And corporations they're not even trying to hide it. They're out there in the open saying, look, we're actively trying to make this change, to eliminate headcount, be more efficient, so we can maximize value for our shareholders. That's the goal, okay? So you would think that people would be paying attention to this and be doing everything they possibly can do now to shore up their alternatives, shore up their resources, plan for a rainy day, plan for the eventuality of if they work for somebody else, if they're not self-employed, if they're not an entrepreneur, if they don't control their own income, having their job being cut, at some point down the road, or their position being eliminated, or coming out of college and finding out their degree is obsolete before they ever got to use it. Before I jump into some of the stats from this survey, as I always humbly ask, please subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Hit the subscribe button for me so we can keep growing this community. I do really appreciate it. So the Hill referenced this retirement plan provider Empower's study. And it says the safety net study, they called it, is based on respondents of 2,200 Americans over age 18. It was conducted back in mid-June, and they, of course, published this report. Some of these statistics in general we've heard before, but I actually went and I pulled the study. I'm going to read from that right now. As always, I want to get your thoughts and comments on this because, again, it's Sunday, right? Most people are at home watching football, laying on the couch, and ready to tomorrow morning clock into their 9-to-5 job, assuming that everything is going to be status quo. And what this study finds is that a massive percentage of those people have zero put away, zero emergency savings, and zero ability to provide for their well-being, and more importantly, the well-being of their family, their wife, their kids, maybe some elderly parents, when, I'm not going to say if, when they lose their job. And maybe it's not at the hands of AI. Maybe it's just their employer deciding that they're going to trim some fat, which we're seeing happen on a much more regular basis now. So here we go. The median emergency savings for Americans, and this is, by the way, the safety net survey conducted by Empower. The median emergency savings for Americans, what do you think it is? $500. What can you truly acquire for $500 in today's society? The size of the safety net varies by generation, with boomers saving a median of $2,000, 5 times that of Gen Z's reserves of $400. 1/3 of Americans, 33%, don't have an emergency savings fund at all. Nothing. 29% say they can't afford an unexpected emergency in excess of $400. Although 75% of those surveyed say they agree emergency savings are essential. So again, I would ask this rhetorical question: what are you doing about it? If you're one of those people that doesn't have a backup plan, I think it's time to, or maybe you do, but your kids don't, or your grandkids don't, or your brother or sister don't. So these people really need to start thinking about doing this like yesterday. Close to 1 in 5 Americans say their savings would cover less than a month, less than 30 days of expenses, 18%. So if something happens and you don't have that put aside, what is your backup plan? We know that most of the consumers in this country, at least those in the bottom, let's say 80 or 90%, have tapped out their credit cards. They're running on credit. They're running on buy now, pay later. They've tapped out their home equity lines of credit. And so what are they going to do? Okay. And again, you cannot, buy insurance. You've heard this often. You cannot buy fire insurance after your home burns down. You've got to have something in place now. The majority, 63%, say the rising cost of living has made it harder to build or maintain emergency savings. More than half, 58%, say saving for emergencies feels almost impossible with how expensive everything is right now. Okay? And it says in the past year, many have faced unplanned financial events, including car repairs, 26%, medical bills, 24%, home repairs, 19%, job loss or income reduction, right now only 14%. I bet that number next year is north of 40%, okay? Pet emergencies, 11%. Yeah, I know about that one. But the thing is, it's one thing to sit around and say, well, everything costs too much. I can't do it. It's harder to put money away. Understand that, okay? It's harder for all of us, okay? However, that should be kind of a call to action for everybody to put in place a backup plan. Start that side hustle, start that side gig, start looking at alternative methods to generate income for your family. I've shared before, I just recently started another company, a new business, a side business with a couple of friends of mine, not in the legal field at all, but we're looking at an industry that has somewhat recession proof, it's in demand, and so we're going after it. So I'm not sitting back. Yeah, my phones are slow. The referrals I get from our lawyers are slow right now because they are slow, okay? But I'm not sitting back, complaining about it or saying, well, inflation's high, things are costing more, so, boy, it's just hard to do right now. You've got to put, effort into, we all do, into changing that situation, circumstances. Nobody is coming to save you, okay? You got to save yourself. And if you have family, or a spouse and kids, it's even more important, okay? Listen to this. Half, 46%, say their emergency savings account has less money compared to a year ago, and more than 2 in 5, 42%, say their savings would not help them if they lost a job today. Well, the reason why people's savings is being depleted because they're tapping into to pay for things that are costing more, okay, in many instances. But when you have 42% saying their savings would not help them at all if they lost a job today, that was the statistic that led me to leave or put the thumbnail for today's video. What are those people going to do? Listen to this, 40% say they can count on family to help if something goes wrong financially, okay? So 40%, 42% say if they lost their job, that their savings won't help them at all. Okay, nothing put back. But 40% of those say they would count on family. All right, so again, it's this whole idea that the mindset in this country is that someone or something is going to come to bail you out, and not you, I'm not speaking to you, but you collectively, or to them, bail them out if something bad happens. The mindset, I think, guys, leave your thoughts and comments, has to change. We're going to be embarking on, let's say, events that we've never seen before as these job losses mount, as AI steps in to take over. Those that have assets, that have income, they're an entrepreneur, they own their own business, are going to do better. Okay, they're going to see even greater wealth gains and greater success, while those that have not put that in place or relying again on their boss to cut their paycheck every week for them so they can, go buy their six pack and go home and watch football or watch the movie or what have you. I know that sounds sarcastic and critical, but the mindset needs to change. When I hear these statistics, that's insane. And they're, of course, relying on family, it says, in case. Well, if your family can't do it, what if they have a hardship, okay? And also what you think is your rescue plan is no longer there, okay? And 1 in 5 Americans say their savings would cover less than a month of expenses. So again, I may have actually shared that. Stat earlier, but they say you should have at least 6 months set aside. You know how long it's taking right now for people to find a replacement job if they get laid off? That time is getting longer and longer and longer. Okay, and for most, unemployment benefits will not cover their monthly expenses, okay, for themselves and their family, okay? So just something for everyone to think about. It's probably not many of you or most of you, but maybe you could share this, spread the word with family, loved ones, colleagues that are simply asleep at the wheel right now. All right. Thanks again. If you like the content or enjoy the content, please hit the thumbs up button, give me a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed, and leave your thoughts and comments. With that being said, I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.